A message from the heart of the world, 2020. This is a turning point in time. We live in unprecedented times. We are filled with and experiencing uncertain changes, growth, and none of us knows the impact of the future of the world. What we do know, though, is this is the harvest season, and since the beginning of time, all people have grown their foods, harvested the foods, and prepared in this season. It's a time to celebrate living and to begin understanding the mystery of dying. The garden shows us this. The flowers, the living blossoms of all things show us these things.
Oh, good, you're here.
So in this time, as part of the celebration of life, we have the traditional ceremony of the Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, All Souls Day. It's a time of reflection. It's a time of communication, and it's a time of learning. With this message from the heart of the world, we begin to enter the very days, and we begin to open the ceremonial manner of this ceremony. For it's a holiday that is not just for one day, but many days. We believe in the Mexica tradition that our ancestors return, and we are able to communicate with them, to reflect with them, reconnect with them, and learn. So all people of the world have traditions and customs concerning death and dying. For death and dying is a common denominator among all people. We may speak different languages, we may look different, we eat different foods, we have different values, but we're all related by being born and dying. That is for certain. In the Nahua Mexica Chicano tradition, we believe that actually there are 3 deaths. The first death is when our actual heart stops beating and we actually cease to be on this plane. The second death is when we are buried and we are no longer seen. And the third and final death is when people forget about us and life goes on and we become ancestors. So Dia de los Muertos is the reflection on the third death. We remember our loved ones. We remember our ancestors. We celebrate them. We establish and we honor them. We honor our roots or our ancestors, our customs and traditions. It is good to understand who one is, where one comes from, and who one is related to. It's important. Then we have seeds, for after, in the harvest season, when the plants begin to die, they give seeds. And these seeds are for activating our potentials, for respecting ourselves, and for activating and actually doing things in the world that we will be remembered for. A third aspect are dreams. We can create actions. We can make dreams come true. We build things. So during Dia de los Muertos, which Halloween is sort of the beginning of this process, All Hallows Eve, and it's then that we begin to build our altars, remember our families, think about where we come from again, we gather the seeds, and we dream together, or we think about things, we reflect about life, we meditate upon our lives. These are holy days where we take time out from our busy schedules to just reflect on where we come from, who we are, and where we're going. Now, all peoples of the world and all cultures of the world, as I have mentioned, have different customs. And the same with Dia de los Muertos. Depending on where you come from, what your village is, what your barrio is, what your colonia is, what your town is, or your city, there are different ways to celebrate. And all of them are good because they all come back to our roots of remembering, reflecting, communicating with those who have come before. We ourselves, the living, are a reflection of the dreams and the hopes of our ancestors. For what they did, we have become who we are, and for the things we do. And the things we're doing become the dreams of the future. Our children and our children's children will be remembering us for the things that we did and how we did them. So it's important to sit down at this time of year. It's a pause. It's like a part of a new year. We pause from the busy lifestyles that we live, and we reflect, and we recognize change. Nothing stays the same. We live in an impermanent world, and that's the only constant that we have. Everything will change. So this message, as I mentioned, reaches out to your heart from the heart of the world to bring peace, bring comfort, brings connection with those who have come before. Some of the things that we like to encourage may be the dreams of the future, since we live in such turbulent, such changing times. What are our dreams? What are we dreaming for the future? I'll share with you some of the things that I'm dreaming about. I'm dreaming that in the future, and I am working now, that others will remember truth and justice for all living beings. I'm dreaming of a beautiful world where beauty is important in people's lives again. The way we speak, the things we do, how we do what we do, that beauty be a part of all of this. And I'm thinking also, dreaming, hoping, wishing for peace and harmony for all living beings. I would like that to be part of my living legacy when the future reflects back on us and I'm remembered. I would like to dream that we're evolving ourselves in a higher intelligence, that we lift ourselves and raise the bar and the standard of thinking, of hoping in the way we do things, that we're intelligent, that we educate ourselves, whether we go to school or not, but we use natural and high sustained intelligence. And I dream of a future with a big imagination, that we open our creative channels, that we open the creativity and imagine a world filled with truth and justice, beauty, peace, and harmony. Imagine an intelligent group of people working together, knowing what to do. And I dream of the strength for all of us, of a strong will and a willpower to be able to sustain our dreams, build the world that we hope to come, so that we too will be great beings on someone's altar at one time, remembering us. So this is the beginning. This is the beginning of this holiday. This is the beginning of our time together, this few moments, like a flower opening, like a flower blossoming. The ceremony's open, our minds open. We reached for higher intelligence and higher connection. I wish this for all living beings.